What is up, everybody? It's your boy Duty back again with another video, and my lord, yesterday was just one of those days in the vortex that you gotta love and you gotta enjoy. And what do you mean by that? Well, our boy Phil just had a rough go at it. It was pretty bad for our boy. It was like a head-on collision, where there was some severe damage, and you just couldn't look away. You had to watch, and that's what Phil's streaming day yesterday was. It was just him streaming and watching a car wreck. It was so bad that our boy Phil even had to lower the King's Dent streak goal from 200 down to 150. That's how bad it was. And the man just reverted back to his begging ways. It was a sight to see, folks. If you didn't watch any of the content, make sure to watch some of it. There's a lot of clips out there. It was a great day. Let's see what Phil had to say on the Daily Wrap.
Good evening, everyone. Phil here, and welcome to the Daily Wrap for what was Wednesday, the 25th of September, 2024. Quite the eventful day. A lot of variety and interesting things going on today, so listen up if you're interested. And, of course, if you want to know what's going on tomorrow, which is a very special day, stay tuned. So today there was no Level 1 podcast. Reason being, I appeared on a show under the Cultaholic umbrella of shows called Desert Island Graps. And this show was all about my history as a fan of pro wrestling. 3 of my favorite matches of pro wrestling of all time that I would watch if I was like stranded on a desert island. But also a lot of stuff about me, my history as a Street Fighter player, a wrestling fan, a YouTuber. Yes, even drama stuff about WWE champions, which you knew would come up since WWE is part of what Cultaholic covers. It lasted about 90 minutes. It went really well, in my opinion. Now, I'm not to say that there was really too much there that if you're a strong fan of mine, you wouldn't have already known. Everything there has been talked about recently. Like the champion stuff, I've already talked about a ton of times. There's no new content there, right? But anyway, yeah, it was good. It was a good interview. I really enjoyed it. Now, it's not live yet. For what I'm going to understand, those guys save content for their patrons. And I guess if they're patrons right now, you have access to the interview. If not, then they're going to put out that content over on Sunday. But because of that, I did not do a podcast today, okay? Instead, I started my gameplay stream around 1 p.m. where I did...
God. Alrighty. So, okay. So, God. Phil, okay. I don't, he annoys me so fucking much. And I hate that he annoys me so much over stupid shit. But this guy was invited onto a podcast, right? So that these, well, whoever this Cultaholic folks could potentially benefit from having Phil on their show. Build some hype, maybe get some Patreon members, maybe make a little bit of money, give Phil a little bit of exposure. That's the point of doing collabs, Phil, right? So what does Phil do? Instead of hyping it up, making it like, hey, you definitely want to watch this, check it out, why don't you go over there and become a Patreon of theirs? You know, hype it up. And hopefully make some money for these guys. Let's cut to the chase. Make some money for these guys, right? Off of your name. Instead of doing that, he downplays the whole fucking interview. Like, oh yeah, well, if you're one of my dents and you contribute to my content and you watch me, yeah, you're not gonna get anything out of this. So don't bother spending your money over there. Just make sure to keep giving me your money. You're just a scumbag, Phil. You're just a scummy, greedy person. Why won't you hype this up for them? Even if it was a boring interview, who gives a shit? Make it hype. Say, hey guys, you know, I know you're my viewers. You listen to me every day. You probably know a lot about me. But you know what? There might be some new stuff out there that you've never heard of. My take on this, my take on that. I think you would enjoy it. Why don't you go over there and give them guys a sub? You know, maybe become a Patreon member. You know, I'd appreciate it. It would be like, I'll give you an example. It would be like that being said, asking me to be on their podcast, right? What I would do is a couple days before the podcast, I'd make a community post or on my Twitter and say, hey guys, to my viewers, hey, I'm going to be on the That Being Said podcast. Why don't you guys stop by? It'll be great. It'll be real hype. Why don't you guys show That Being Said some love? I'd hype it up. Even if it's going to be boring as fucking dirt. I'd still hype it up to try to get some publicity, some exposure for the That Being Said podcast. And maybe, yeah, they'd make some money off of it. That's the whole fucking point of having collabs. They're not having you on the show so that you can benefit, Phil. They're having you on so that they can benefit. And maybe you can get a little something out of it. But the main point of you being on their podcast is so that they can benefit. But not you. All you give a shit about is yourself. All you give a shit is about yourself. You don't even hype it up. You don't even make it a big thing. You don't even tell your fucking viewers that, hey, go check it out. You're just like, well, you know, it's stupid, it's boring, don't bother. And oh, by the way, don't give them any money. You're just fucking pathetic, man. You're so fucking pathetic. That's why people don't like doing shit with you. Because they know they won't benefit out of it. What benefit are they going to garner having you on? You're just a leech. It's like the Kino folks. What did they benefit from this? They got to troll Rich, Review Tech USA. They got to troll Locale Live. That was it. But you benefited from this. You benefited most from this. And that's why they're kind of not really collabing with you or doing anything with you. Because you bring no intrinsic value. And you did the same thing here with this Cultaholic thing. You probably were the only person that could have hyped this up. And maybe had like whatever your 300 or 400 viewers that watched this, maybe they would have gone and checked it out, and that, you know, out of those 300 or 400 people, maybe a few of them would become Patreon members. That's the point of doing fucking collabs, Phil. Not that you benefit all the time, dude. You're just such a greedy scumbag. Anyway, let's keep going.
Like a quick half an hour kind of unwinding decompression recap, and then we jumped into the casting of Frank Stone. Today the game got really good. Why? Finally, supernatural crazy stuff started happening that ties in with Dead by Daylight. There was some murders and brutality today, and the plot thickened a lot in different timelines that you're jumping around. So I had a really great time with the game today. The audience was not as big because I showed up late and people were all weird about the timeline of the stream or whatever. But I'll say this, support was pretty good. We ended up actually raising over $100 of support on that stream, and I was very happy with that because, as you know, the last few days it had been way slowed down. Then on the late stream, it was WWE Champions Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Night 2. What did we accomplish tonight? Number one, I leagued up to League 8. We need to get the league up way higher because right now I can't really get higher and participate in monthly events. I'm locked into low-level stuff with these events, so the higher I get in league, the better. It took a lot of grinding to do that, but we got it done. And then we did a few free pulls for me being this like subscription-based thing where you get free pulls every time you play, and we actually got a couple new characters, which was good out of it. Then we kept playing, and basically people supported enough that we hit the goal. I was like, oh, we hit the goal for the first time since Sunday. That's awesome. And we did a mega pull, and there was a special loot. All 6-star characters. We got a lot of new characters, some of which are actually quite good. Like, we got Hall of Fame Triple H, and he's one of the best in the game still to this day, and he's like a year old, and he's still really good. So it was a good pull. Sadly, we did not get any new Ninja Turtles characters. We tried. We played the tours. We tried to do it. We pulled the loot. Nothing. Couldn't get any. But it was a fun night. A lot of chill talk about wrestling and gaming and all kinds of other stuff. Really solid session. So thank you to everyone who was there. Thanks to those who supported. It went really well. Okay. Now here's the deal for tomorrow. Tomorrow is my.
Alrighty. So, God, this was the train wreck that I was referring to. So apparently our boy Phil didn't have a podcast, so he couldn't beg for an hour and a half or 2 hours and get the tip go rolling. Right. Support was extremely slow the whole time. It wasn't until he went on a full-fledged fucking beg around 6 o'clock, which like an hour before the end of the podcast, and people started throwing pity tips at him. Not even pity tips, pity super chats saying, here's some money. Stop complaining. It was just fucking hilarious. And the guy spent a good percentage of his gameplay just begging. Stopping and begging, talking about support. It got so bad that he actually lowered the goal, the King's Coffers goal, which you guys know is $200 in super chats and in tips. Ever since he raised that shit, I think he hit it maybe once. And the Kino folks are gone. The Kino, he's struggling to get 300 to 350 people watching his streams. At a given point, he was at 400 to 500. He could barely get 350 to watch these fucking streams. And a lot of the Kino folks, like Bohi Pans, the guys that were dropping serious cash on Phil, they're gone. They're not there. He had to rely on some of his old-time dents to come in and drop cash. And one of his dents, I'm not sure who it was, but One of them came in and dropped a $50 super chat, which got him to $100. But tips, abysmal. It was so bad that he had to lower the fucking goal from 200 to 150. Yet again, moving the goalpost. And this isn't 150 in tips. This is 150 total. Super chats, tips, so on. He's so fucking desperate to try to own the trolls and not give the detractors a win that he's doing everything in his fucking pathetic power to try to continue this Dent streak. Which, Phil, give it up. I already told you guys, the next thing he's going to start doing is counting memberships. And then when that dies, he's going to start counting views. All right, guys, for every 10 views I get, I'll count that as $1 towards the tip goal. It's just going to be fucking sad. And I love it. It's a train wreck. You got to watch it. I posted some clips out there because it was just fucking funny as hell. Watching him just squirm and sounding so pathetic. This is the king, right? How many for the last 2 months? How long have we been hearing about the king and how he owns everyone and how he felt everyone? And we have the king here groveling for fucking someone to outseat someone who tipped $2 for hours. Pathetic, man. You're just fucking sad. And the problem is, Phil, is you failed to pivot again. For weeks I've been telling you, Phil, this is going to dry up. This isn't going to last long. You know it's not going to last long. Why don't you figure out something different? Why don't you do something different? Instead of planning something different, doing something different, maybe leaning into the drama a little bit more. No, you continue doing the same boring shit. And what you did was you modified the tip goal. Oh, I'm counting super chats and tips. Whoa! Okay. Which you should have been doing for fucking years anyway. But that's not going to excite anybody to give you any money. It just isn't. And then the fucking laughable thing is last night during WWE Champions, he made, I think, 160 or something like that. Made $160, not in tips. I think he made about $50, I think, in tips, or $60 in tips. No, I'm sorry. He got a $100 tip from NDO. Dent NDO came out of nowhere and dropped $100. And then I think the rest of it was super chats. What did this idiot do? He spent $110 of the $160 on WWE Champions. So he netted $50, and that's not even including the PayPal and YouTube's cut and taxes. So all in all, he may have walked away with like $40 last night, yesterday during his streams. Pathetic. And he wants to sit here and talk about business is picking up. Dude, you're gonna really say that with a straight fucking face? And he knows it isn't true. You could tell in his demeanor. You could tell the way he talks, the way he's carrying himself. He's a defeated dude. You could tell he's defeated. And he's just holding out and hoping that the Kino guys will come back and rally and bring back support for him. That's what he's counting on. That's what he is. And by the way, before we go, you know what? I'll do that after the fact. But, yeah, that's what he's counting on. He's counting for people to or the Kino folks to come back and save his hide. And I just don't see it. I'm sorry, I don't see it. I don't see what benefit they gain out of it. The only thing they can gain out of it is if they continue trying to fight with Ethan Ralph and they try to get Phil to start drama with Ethan Ralph. But I'm not sure that's something Phil wants to do. He doesn't want to get in the middle of the whole Ethan Ralph thing. I don't see it. He's trying to drudge up drama with Review Tech USA, and Review Tech USA told him to go pound sand. He's been trying to get JKB on his streams for weeks, and Jay told him, no, go pound sand. I don't want to deal with your drama. I don't want to deal with your bullshit. And who else does he have going for him? Local Live? They're not going to come on until he comes on to the Local Live podcast. That's not going to happen until he jumps on their stream. So what else does he have going for himself? He's interviewing with Toto, whatever the fuck his name is. No one gives a shit about who the fuck that is, and no one cares. It's pathetic. Anyway, that's all I have, folks. If you didn't watch any of the content yesterday, definitely check it out. It was a great day of it was. How can I explain? It was funny because my thumbnail actually explained it all. My thumbnail says, "Warning: Phil is extremely pathetic in this video. Viewers be aware." But you had to watch. Again, it's a train wreck where you know someone's gonna not make it, but you still need to watch. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace out. And yes, your boy Duty is taking a victory lap. Peace out.